What is up, everyone? StonePost34. I'm going to continue with the other series. I haven't been on here in a while. I am so busy at work, it's ridiculous. I do have time to play games, and been playing mostly Black Ops. But anyway, just kind of an interesting thing happened today. I live in a town of about 100,000 people, and if you've been reading the news or watching the news, you've seen the wildfires out in Colorado and kind of west of here. I live in Kansas. And all that's been going on, and I think they're getting close to getting those under control. But just kind of a weird thing happened. So today, I'm actually sitting in my office working on a report, and I just log on to Facebook for a moment to take a break and see what's going on. And a friend of mine posts a photo of a grass fire west of our town. Well, it's not just west of our town. I mean, it's like it is in the city limits, actually. And the guy that works for me, he's 57. He's got 3 boys, and his house is the last house on that street, on the end of that street that is where this fire is. So I just thought it was weird. I mean, one, to see it on Facebook. He had gone to look at a property. I call him on his mobile. He doesn't answer. And 10 minutes later, he walks in the door, just hysterical, frantic. And I said, "Did you see I called?" He said, "Yeah." He goes, "I got to go." I said, "Yeah, it looks like the fire's right there." And just kind of scary, real scary. He said, "Yeah, my wife called, and it's right next to our house. I've got to go." And I was actually out early this morning, and I saw, early, about an hour before that, and I saw the smoke off on the horizon. Didn't think much of it. My brother is, a little known fact, if you guys didn't know this, but my brother's the fire chief for the surrounding county, and then also he's a fire chief of another city, so he's got 2 jobs as fire chief. But it's in his area, and I don't usually think a whole lot about it, because I'll hear from him later, usually what happened, whether it was a car wreck or a fire. So I just figured, I'll talk to him later and see what it is. But yeah, so this fire started out by the highway. I don't know if it was thrown cigarette or something like that, but crept all the way towards town and consumed 20, 30 acres. And luckily it is out. It just sucks here. I don't know where you guys are at, but we've only had 1 inch of rain in the past, I think probably 6 weeks. And it's just made it really difficult to do anything outside. We did fireworks for the 4th of July, and we were very, very careful. We had water hoses at the ready in case there was an errant spark or anything like that, because our yards are extremely dry. Now, being in the city, it's probably not going to be as big a deal as when you're just in the county and you have those large areas of brush and underbrush that can just ignite at it's been 100 degrees here for 10 days straight, which is just, it's unheard of for early July. I do remember a few of these in Kansas where it was pretty hot, but it would last several days, not almost 2 weeks. So we're hopefully getting out of this by the end of this week, they're saying, but it's going to be 95. And I joked with my wife. I said, well, if it's 95, maybe we can open the house back up, because it's 10 to 15 degrees cooler than it has been most of this month, or all of this month and at the end of June. But anyway, guys, I don't know if you've had any fire issues. I never really had them growing up. Of course, we learned in high school and junior high and elementary all the, feel the door, if it's warm, stop, drop, and roll, that kind of thing. And, it wasn't anything I ever had to deal with. With my brother being the fire chief for a couple communities around here, I do hear some of the stories. Luckily, we haven't had any major fires in my community this year. Now, we've had apartments and stuff like that, but it's just got to be scary. The smoke, everything in your house. I know in my house, I've got keepsakes, I've got old pictures of my grandparents, I've got stuff from when I was growing up that it just can't be replaced. And I know why the gentleman who works for me, why he was so hysterical. Because if you think about losing everything you have, basically in a moment's notice, which has happened out in Colorado. These families have lost everything due to these wildfires. And I don't know, I should ask my brother, but I know they do controlled burns, because you can't just let that vegetation, which is fuel, it dries out in the winter, and it dries out now because we haven't had any rain. But you gotta, nature has found its own way to take care of it, through lightning storms and such. But now with people living in these areas of that were unincorporated, 20, 30 years ago, now we've got issues with. Not saying we shouldn't be there, but this growth and undergrowth can kind of get out of hand, and I think that's why we're seeing more and more of these wildfires. Not to mention with the extreme temperatures and the winds as well. It's pretty darn windy here in Kansas. So anyway, guys, that's just a quick thing. Sorry I haven't been on here. Work is crazy busy, and have had some time to play a little golf. I played golf yesterday. It was 102 or 100. It doesn't matter. When it's 100, it is hot. And I actually, you know what? I told my wife when I got home. I said, I think I'm getting used to this heat, which is sad, because I wasn't really that bothered. I stayed hydrated. I was, Gatorade and water when I played, and I did okay. So, and I shot really well. I shot, I was 4 over par on the first 9, and that's probably as well as I've done this year on my home course. So I've played some other really easy courses. I don't count that. The course I play on is, state. The state uses it for a lot of its pro-ams, and it's a very nice course and has extremely tough greens, and so I was pretty happy with that. But the heat in itself, whew, by the time we wrapped up, I was ready to get out of the heat, but I still felt okay. I didn't feel, sometimes I get nauseated or get those headaches and such, but I seem to do okay. So anyway, guys, that's about it. This was just a quick game of domination, and we kicked the crap out of this team. I wasn't the lobby leader, but that didn't matter. I had a blast. We were just running around killing these kids, and this map's so easy to do it on. But anyway, guys, look for more videos. I appreciate you stopping by the channel, and take care as always. This is StonePost 34.